What happened in Bomas was very unfortunate. I did not speak about it yesterday when we had the press conference with my family because nilikuwa na kizunguzungu ya medication na madawa. But I have an injury at the back of the head and an injury on the neck because a sharp point of a chair hit me on the neck. And I also have another injury kwa mguu. But by the grace of God, I'm alive. Today I'm feeling better. Yesterday I think I was under a lot of medication, so I got dizzy, painkillers, but and even antibiotics. But today I'm better. Chenye ilifanyika Bomas was very unfortunate, and it happened in the full glare of national TV. The people incited it and leaders holding state office. The Member of Parliament for Morara, Honorable Kajwang, the Honorable Member of Parliament for, or the Dishonorable Member of Parliament for Dagoretti North, Beatrice Elachi, the Dishonorable Member of Parliament for Makadara, Georgia Ladwa, and these are members of Parliament of ODM. So I don't know whether this is ODM's way of doing things. And ODM has been supported. ODM has been supported by Kenyans for a long time. I don't think whether this is how they should pay back for the support they've received. And ODM has been very violent, even in other occasions. I even witnessed a press conference where the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka was supposed to address a press conference, and ODM goons walked in and chased away Kalonzo Musyoka. So I don't know whether they believe to be the only ones capable of violence. I don't know whether they believe that, or that they believe they're the kings of violence and nobody can beat them when it comes to violence or can be more violent than them. But all I can tell them is that revenge belongs to God. And for me, I will not lose sight of my mission to turn around and start planning revenge against them. I'll stay focused on my mission, and the Kenyan people are going to avenge whatever they did and that they've done to many other people. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's been violently attacked by ODM trying to kill. You see, when you throw more than 50, 30 chairs at someone, you don't intend to warn them. That's not a warning. You actually intend to kill them, because kitupia mtu kiti ya chuma kwa kichwa, viti zaidi ya 30, unataka kumuua. Kwa hivyo yule MCA ambaye alikuwa amevaa koti ya pink kwa kamera na kwa video anaitwa Ringo, na hao vijana ambao wanatembea na Georgia Ladwa na wanatembea na Beatrice Elachi na wengine wao wanatembea na Honorable TJ Kajwang, mulifanya kitendo ya unyama, lakini pia kitendo ya aibu kubwa. Muliaibisha hiyo chama yenu na muliaibisha kabila yenu, kwa sababu sisi kama Wakenya hatutaki kuanza kupigana kikabila na kusema hii kabila imefanyia kabila yetu hii. As Kenya, we want to be one united country, and our problems as Kenyans are common. Shida zetu, hata hao wenye walikuwa wananipiga, si ati wao watafaidika na social health insurance hiyo chief. Si ati wao wako sawa, ati watoto wao wakipita waende university funding model itawafavor. Labda itafavor viongozi, lakini not the goons. The goons hata wao wananunua vitu kwa maduka hapa Kenya na hapa Nairobi. They know how expensive things have become. Wanalipa rent hapa Nairobi, wanajua vile rent imekuwa expensive. Wanajua vile kuna insecurity kwa communities. Wanajua vile corruption imetuumiza na imeharibu nchi yetu. Na pesa wanalipwa hata sio ya maana, ni pesa kidogo sana ambayo haiwezi kubadilisha maisha yao. Lakini kama uchumi yetu ingekuwa vizuri, they would not be even a goon for any politician. They would be doing their businesses, or they will be employed somewhere. So what they did was criminal. I'm surprised that the police have not done anything about it. The Director of Criminal Investigation has not done anything about it. The Inspector General of Police has not done anything about it, and I don't think they have a plan of doing anything. The police service wamenyamaza, na DCI wamenyamaza, meaning they silently approve whatever happened. I think polisi wanajaribu kutuambia kwamba mtu yote ambaye anapinga serikali, if you are attacked and injured or killed, that's okay. That's okay. Wale watu ambao wao wanataka kudefend ni wenye wako pande ya serikali ama wenye wanasupport hii serikali ya ufisadi. Hivyo ndivyo polisi wanatuonyesha. Na kama ni hivyo, I don't know why we still pay taxes to them, to the government, because hiyo bunduki polisi wamebeba ni ushuru wetu, na hiyo risasi ni ushuru wetu, na hiyo uniform wamevaa ni ushuru wetu, na mshahara yao ni ushuru wetu. So as police, why are you partisan? Why are you being used by politicians? Because mimi nilifika Bomas, nilipofika kwa gate, askari ndio walinizuia kuingia. Na hawakunizuia ati huko kuna shida usiingie, utapatana na shida. Walikuwa wananizuia as Morara nisiingie. When I managed to go in, nilipita milango 3 za Bomas kama sifunguliwi. Mlango ya kwanza wakani block, they didn't open for me. Mlango ya pili wakani block, they didn't open for me. Mlango ya 3 they didn't open for me. Actually, I blame myself for not seeing the red flags. Mimi nasema hata kama tunasema walifanya makosa, hata mimi I should have seen that there was something. Yeah, I should have seen the red flag. But anyway, when I got in na vurugu ikazuka, there were more than 100 police officers in Bomas on that day, outside. I don't know why they didn't do anything, why they didn't come in to quell the chaos, because I didn't go in with any group. Nilienda peke yangu. Ningeingia na group ndio ungesema group mbili zimepigana. But I went alone. Na watu walinipiga sio wananchi, it's not the public. The public in fact were demanding nipewe microphone. TJ Kajwang akikataa nisipewe niongee. Watu walini attack, walikuja specifically kutoka nyuma ya dais ya TJ Kajwang, na TJ Kajwang ndiye alipoint, na hata alincite TV wakisikia na kila Mkenya akisikia, na hata aliongea kwa Kijaluo. The question is, kama ilikuwa shida yangu na Wajaluo, my first rally nimewahi kufanya Kenya ni Kondele. Mbona sikupigwa mawe Kondele? I believe the Luo people are very peaceful loving. It's just a few people want to intentionally and specifically give them a bad name. Mimi nataka kusema mimi mambo ya ukabila I'm beyond it. And I'm not going to participate kwa mambo ya ukabila. Na mambo ya political violence I'm not going to participate. Si ati nimeshindwa ama sina uwezo ya kumobilize for political violence, but if we play by the rules that these people are playing, then how are we better than them? I as Morara Kebaso, I'm trying to groom and bring up myself as an alternative young leader, and not just me alone, but I'm trying to inspire other young leaders to join me in the Inject party. Inject stands for Inclusion of National, Justice, Economic and Civic Transformation. So, I even want other young leaders to also join me. But when these young leaders join me, they'll be asking, what is the philosophy of this party? What do we stand for? Me, Pia, are you violent like ODM? Do you stand for beating up people and injuring them and so on? And, you know. And I will be telling them, no, we don't stand for violence. We just want a better Kenya. Right? So hiyo kitu ilifanyika ni tendo la aibu kwa hiyo chama na kwa wanachama wake na hata kwa viongozi wao. The police have refused to take any action. Ni sawa. As police, hivyo vile mnafanya, sijali, it will come to bite you one day. As police, when you refuse to be independent, you know, you can go to my Twitter, investigate me for a tweet I made about David Langat and arrest me Mnizungushe police station kama 5. Unajua walinitoa Kiambaa police station, walinitoa Nairobi area police station, police headquarters, wakanipeleka DCI headquarters, wakanipeleka Kiambaa, wakanipeleka Ruiru, wakanipeleka Thika, ndio wakanipeleka Kamkunji. If you can do all that because of a tweet which David Langat never complained, but you cannot do this for violence that has been seen, yet the work of the police is to protect life and property. So if you don't care about my life, you as police, why don't you care about the property that was destroyed? Anyway, ni sawa. Hivyo vile mnafanya, apandacho mtu atavuna. Atavuna tu hiyo. Once the police become partisan and start playing for politicians and working as errands for politicians, they will reap what they sow. Now, my intention for going to Bomas, I could have said this yesterday, but as I've told you during the family meeting, nilikuwa na a lot of busyness because of medication, but right now I'm better. I have injuries on the neck and on the back of the head and on my leg, but let's just say I'm good. Niko sawa. Niko sawa. God has kept me safe. I was not paralyzed. I didn't receive a permanent injury. I was treated at the Nairobi hospital. But when I realized that the media has realized that I'm at Nairobi hospital, I shifted to another hospital so that I can be treated. Wamenifanyia scan ya kichwa, ya shingo. They've treated me well. Na niko sawa. I'm back to work. And the work is this. The work is impeachment ya Honorable Rigathi Gachagua should not be a tribal affair. Na mimi nimejaribu sana to ensure it's not a tribal affair. Kwa sababu kuna vile alikuwa ameanza kupata sympathy ya watu wa Mount Kenya. Nataka kushukuru watu wa Mount Kenya for saying kufa gari kufa dereva, because watu wa Mount Kenya wamekuwa loud sana kwa hiyo maneno. You know, Mount Kenya in itself has 4 to 5 million votes, which means if change is going to come to Kenya, especially through the ballot, it has to begin in Mount Kenya because they have a lot of votes. They should first champion or lead us towards that change. And that change is not Rigathi Gachagua. Because wakati mnamuonea huruma, mnasema oh, huyu ni mtu wetu anapigwa, you are making a presidential candidate. You are giving someone influence, and this person is going to use his influence. Atafanya vitu mbili. Either atauzia William Ruto, so watazameana waseme ile ilikuwa mambo ya shetani, ni Raila ndiye aliingia kwa serikali akavuruga, tusamee. He will sell the influence you've given him to William Ruto, or he'll run for president himself, na mkimchagua mtakuwa mmeruka from the frying pan to the fire. We want change in Kenya, and we want to change away from corruption. Every single thing Kenyans are talking about that has a problem, Morara, I want to tell you that the problem is corruption. If you look at the healthcare sector, the reason it has failed completely is because of state capture and corruption. People are thinking about making money. Ni kuiba pesa ya medical equipment, ni kuiba pesa ya madawa, ni madaktari kujaribu kudivert wagonjwa to private clinics. It's just corruption ndio imeua hiyo sector. If you come to education, it is corruption that has killed the sector. You know, universities trying to make money in unscrupulous ways. Yeah. Help trying to do this and that. Funding of universities, you know, money being stolen through funding of universities, you know, payroll, the role of students as fake students, the role of schools as fake schools, textbooks, you know, is a big procurement scandal. This is what has killed the key sectors of our country. Corruption, corruption, corruption. If you deal with corruption, you solve 90% of the problems in Kenya. And that is why my message has always been against corruption. The reason they brought the impeachment motion against Rigathi Gachagua is so that we divert our attention. Tuache kufikiria Adani, tuache kufikiria Chief, tuache kufikiria vile wagonjwa wanakufa hospitalini, tuache kufikiria vile corruption imetuumiza, barabara ni mbaya, wananchi wanaumia, uchumi ni mbaya, people are not making money, businesses are closing, you know, industries are closing, watu wamepoteza majob, wenye wako na majob wako overtaxed. They didn't want us to focus on this issue. They wanted us to focus on something else. Na nilipo realize kwamba siwezi kudivert your attention because the government, some of these people own media houses and the government advertises on media houses. So media houses wameshikwa mahali so that if they don't broadcast what these people want, then they don't get government tenders za advertise, and it's millions and billions of money. So because of that, the media has made it a national issue. Not that it has become a national issue, nikasema hivi, let's also make it our business. Wacha tuingie kwa hiyo national issue, to participate kwa hiyo mambo ya impeachment. Na participation yetu ni gani? Let's both of them go. Rigathi Gachagua is not better for Kenya. I mean, there's no doubt that Rigathi Gachagua is corrupt. There's no doubt that he's tribal. There's no doubt that he's incompetent. There's no doubt that he sabotages the president. I don't like President William Ruto. I don't like him. But one of us, me or you who is watching this video, one day you will be a president. You can't have a deputy sabotaging you all the time. At yuko Nairobi, yana whole press conference Mombasa, talking about the NIS, a very sensitive national security organ, of which vitu kama hizo ni vitu za kuongewa kwa boardroom. When you are a deputy president, your job is to deputize the president. If you feel you can no longer be a deputy president, toka. Resign and come out here and do politics. So even if I hate or dislike William Ruto, or don't like him as a president because he's a liar, he likes lying and corrupt and all these things, I don't support the disrespect of our president by a deputy president. That I don't support, because a deputy president's work is to deputize. He's behaving like an opposition leader and we are here. Akianza sasa kufanya opposition within government, sisi tufanye kazi gani? And if Rigathi Gachagua has decided to be an opposition leader, it's okay. Let him tell us the truth. He says he's a truthful man. Atuambie the truth about Adani. Atuambie the truth about Chief. Atuambie the truth about university funding model. Atuambie the truth about finance bill. Atuambie the truth about the bribing of members of parliament. Atuambie the truth about corruption, about line 5, petroleum, 40 billion for the petroleum line 5 from, Mombasa to Nairobi. Atuambie about 12 billion loss from treasury. Atuambie about 15 billion za e-citizens zenye zimepotea. Atuambie ama hazijulikani kama ziko ama hakuna. Atuambie about 400 million ya Kericho Green Stadium ya Madaraka Day last year. Let him tell us the truth. They've already told us how Gachagua is corrupt. Why is he not willing to tell us how they are corrupt? So iko kitu hapo. So me, I don't mind if he is impeached. I don't mind. It's good riddance. It's one bad person down. And it's good because it will set a precedent that a deputy president or a president can be impeached. But the reason we are saying impeach both is because we want to remove the tribal factor from that equation. So that it's not about tribalism anymore. It's about accountability. It's about leaders being accountable. As Morara will continue to champion for the rights of Kenyans, not because I have permission or because lazima munishabikie or because of anything, but because this is a personal decision that comes from inside my heart. And I will not do it even for money or for anything. I'll do it because I believe in it. And those who believe in me can continue supporting me. And lastly, there's been this conversation about leaderless and individualism. And what I can say is that tusijidanganye. In Kenya, we have leaders who have been born young and middle class, middle age and old. There are leaders of integrity. Stop stepping on those leaders. Ati mtu akikama up mnasema, oh, you're being individualistic, you want to personalize the movement, you want to be, yes, we are leaders. That's why the media keeps calling us activists, because it doesn't want to call us leaders, because they don't want us to be leaders. These people are only afraid when we plan to take leadership. Otherwise, they don't care when we call them corrupt. They know they are corrupt, and they know that their electorate knows that they are corrupt and will still elect them as corrupt. So what do we do as Kenyans? Hizi shida zote tuko nazo. Hatuwezi fanya maandamano ya Adani, tufanye maandamano ya agricultural bill, tufanye maandamano ya hii bill ingine wameleta ya extend term limit, tufanye maandamano ya IBC. Let's combine all those issues into one. Ruto and Gachagua must go. That one, regime change. Let's combine all our issues to regime change. Otherwise, I'll be having more conversations with you. I'm back in circulation, and I hope the Lord will go before us.
And your two hosts, and I want to say good evening, fellow Kenyans. And allow me to start with condemning the act which happened to Morara. As much as we may not be all his supporters and following him, the truth is that whatever has been done to Morara can be done to any other person. And I don't believe in a country where such things can happen. So also another thing is that seeing sitting MPs, they were the ones who are cheering up Morara to be beaten up. That is something which is unacceptable. And as we are talking right now, no action has been taken against them. The president has said nothing about it. And you want to tell me in this country we have a president? Then, fellow Kenyans, I think as much as we want to be too obedient to the Constitution is for the poor, but for the rich and the president that is called, the Constitution, according to them, they are above the law. And having said that, personally, I like thinking critically. And I've thought over it again and again. And I have decided that Waswahili husema mficha uchi azai. Kwa hivyo wakati umefika tuseme ya kwamba mpaka tufungue uchi uonekane ili tuweze kuzaa. Because what is happening in our country, it's something to be condemned with the highest terms, but whoever we are expecting to do that is doing nothing about it. Whoever we expected, we've given him authority to be a symbol of unity, he has decided to become a symbol of destruction and the destruction in our country. And we cannot continue like that, fellow Kenyans. I want us to look at 287 people have been killed. The president has never stood even a single day to extend his apologies and even to condole with the families who have lost their loved ones. He has never bothered. What makes him the president of this country then? Because if he cannot protect his lives, he has no business to be a president. I still wait to be told what makes him a president of this country. Right now, he has invented into the NHIF and decided that now he is going to take our health away from us so that we realize that we are dying and we have to be submissive to him and adhere to whatever he says because he has decided to deny us our health services whereby we are contributing our own money, our own work of our hands, and now we have to suffer death. Our parents are dying, our relatives are dying. They cannot acquire services because simply you have been deducted your money, but you are told you have to pay cash because the systems are not working. Because someone has just decided to create a situation whereby the country is in crisis so that we can be submissive to him. The same president has decided to destroy our children, our education, and everything. Because I don't understand what criterion does he use to gauge that who qualifies for what and what category. And the other thing is that he has also sworn and vowed never to adhere to the orders of the court. The court has given several orders and they've not been followed. Then what kind of a president do we have, fellow Kenyans? What kind of a president do we have? A time has come. We think, and we cannot sit here every day, every other day. We are in the platforms and complaining and doing nothing. A time has come. We engage people who call themselves partners of this country. A time has come. We recall back our police officers wherever they are, in whichever country, in the name of actually keeping peace, while taking place. Because if anybody who wakes up and says, fellow Kenyans, this is the way to go, we are in the wrong place, and then somebody comes up and just eats your head so that you keep quiet, so that any other person who sees that, they will coil up and keep quiet. Fellow Kenyans, we are not going to sit and continue watching people being abducted day in, day out, people being killed day in, day out, people being beaten, chaired by the elected members of the parliament, and the president says nothing about it. Fellow Kenyans, I think if we better die standing up as soldiers rather than die still on our knees while we have already surrendered to a person who can never discover that we have surrendered. I've just seen that in another space, Wakili has just said that there is another bill which has been passed.
Sorry, Ms. Josephine, may you try to land, please? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just finishing. This is the last point. That there is a bill which is being deliberated right now in the parliament, which intends to be passed so that we are restricted from several more other areas, so that we do not have authority and the right to do that. Fellow Kenyans, can we come out anytime we see everybody, because we have now to work to the best of everyone's knowledge. Anytime we see a document which concerns us, which concerns protecting us, can we avail our signatures so that we fight with this government squarely and put it to everyone where they belong, and whoever does anything will be able to be arrested, because in case any person is abducted for any reason, we will have somebody who is responsible and who can be held accountable, because we will have put it clearly into records, and every citizen of Kenya and any country that claims to be a stakeholder of our country will be having that documentary on their table. Thank you so much. Let's join hands. Let's soldier forward. Let's never look backwards. I want really to appreciate the entire youth in the country who stood up and they said that President Ruto should also go home together with Gachagua. Those who fought against that impeachment, I salute you. I really acknowledge you, and I keep on praying for all of us so that we remain in that unity. May God bless us and God guide us. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thanks, Josephine. Abdi, do you have something before we proceed?
No, go ahead. Go ahead to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Josephine. And next speaker will be having Diplomat Joseph. Diplomat Joseph, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Pombe. Thank you, Hilary. And thank you, Abdi, for seeing it befitting for us to have such a great platform once again to deliberate the matters that are cardinal to our nationhood. Before I make my submission, allow me to respond to a speaker who spoke before the lady we've just heard from, and that should be the speaker by the name Prince. I think we are in a wake and a time and a season where we are fighting for the application of democracy without dilution. And one thing we ought to understand is there's no way you are going to fight for democracy when you are dividing the very people you need in your sling to win that kind of a war or battle, if that be the case. And therefore, there were several remarks that Prince made, and I think I stand to correct him, because I know we are headed somewhere as a nation, and we ought to speak one language on the issues that are facing us. And therefore, there's a statement he made concerning the Kalenjins, concerning technical use, whichever matter it is. It is very true, yeah. I agree with him, we have tribalism. But just because somebody has favored a certain group of people from a certain tribe, then that should not be the agitating power for any one of us to think that we need to label such a tribe as such a politician. Because what happens is, when somebody is in power and he wants to get people from maybe his community or whatever, basically they unpick their covenant And we cannot summarize and say community X is black because we have 10 people who are from that community who are black. And therefore, what I'm just trying to say is we need everybody on board. It is true we have cases of tribalism. We have cases whereby things are not happening well, but we ought not to forget that. In as much as there are many people in a given department or sector in a government more than others, we need those communities to fight for our democracy. We need those communities to fight for our liberation. So let the categories of people who we know we saw so and so was brought here illegally, when we have everything in our power and in our hand, we can be in a position to deal with those people. So I just needed to make it clear so that we don't shout at the zenith of our voices and try to see a certain tribe as if it is bad because the leader comes from that tribe. So we need everybody on board. Now here is my submission, and I want to thank all the speakers who have made the great contribution before us here today. Now, I think we have a square problem in the whole matrix of the current politics of UDA since they ascended into power in 2022. And the reason as to why I say this is because the issue that I'm going to address here, I value and I put it among the cardinal issues that I have, basically because when UDA candidates that was Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua came to power, or even before they came to power, they were seeking votes. They went throughout the nation trying to get votes from each one of us, and most people, they accepted those two guys. Now, the narrative that Ruto and Rigathi used to was this. The narrative was, the reason as to why we are standing with my brother is because this other guy here called Raila Amolo Odinga is a devil. Raila is a demon. Raila is a man of Enugu powers. Raila sleeps with witch doctors. That's where Raila gets his power. All manner of things. Now, listen to me very carefully. Now, that kind of a statement was a system of mobility to try to drive the society of Kenya, and now we view the politics from a different angles, quite different from the true stratas of politics. And therefore, it was the politics of those who want power because they are angels, versus they that we don't want them to ascend to that power because they are demons. So who becomes the victim? Now, these two guys, they appeared using the image of the church, and the baby they brought us, who today I will tell you without fear that baby was a bastard. A bastard is anything that has been born out of wedlock. It cannot be recognized. So these guys knew what we have in hand is bastard, but we need the blessings of the church so that we can sell the idea of this bastard and then we cling to the seat of power. So what happened is they came to the church and the church accommodated that bastardhood of UDA. Now, when the church accepted that thing, I am telling you for sure, that is how these two guys were able to have easy time to get our votes, to get the votes from the church, to get support from the church. I am speaking from a position of understanding what was going on. I happen to be in the operation of the clergy. Sorry, I didn't want to disclose maybe my details, but I'm telling you, even the other day, the Pentecostal group came out and it was saying how guys fasted and prayed, how people went for many days in prayer for this government. Now, this is the question that I've been asking, and this is what we need to ask ourselves. And the reason why I've brought this issue is because I need you to understand, for our fight for liberation and democracy, the church, the very same church that was used to be the kingmaker, we need to engage that church, because one, it is either the church closes the doors to this politician, and number two, the church comes out to denounce those bastards, or else the church is going to say, we thought these guys are going to work for us and they have really literally failed the Kenyans, and therefore there is a need for us to take a different direction. And the reason as to why I say these guys, they knew whatever they had as a baby was a bastard is because now we had polarization of a demon versus a saint. And this is a question I need to ask you so that I may give other speakers time also to make their contribution. This is my question. Without having any issue to do with any candidate who stood in 2022, how comes that the very man that the church was told was a demon, Raila Amolo Odinga, that Ruto went back using the back door, he went and brought in the same guy who the church was rallied to pray against, and now Raila is supposedly in government, his people are in government. My question is, at what time and stage did Raila become a saint? Because we were told the guy was a bad man. So in reality, so who was fooling who? So only this tells me that the church was used to sanitize a bastard. So whatever character these two guys are they have tried to bring in our faces. It has been a lie since the beginning. And let me tell you, and I'm sorry, I am standing from a position where I need maybe to have a support for the church. But let me tell you the truth. I've heard people say yesterday, it is better. It is better when we had a dragged leader than those guys who seem to be so sacramental and so pious. You see, so this is my submission to every one of us. In this discussion and engagements, we must bring the church onto account, because the church was used to sanitize people who do not have morals in everything that they are trying to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diplomat Joseph. That was a nice submission, and for the members who are just coming, we are having a conversation, state of the nation. We have 5 major things that happened previously that we are trying to look into. That is the impeachment of the deputy president regarding the Kajwang. We have the public participation of the same bill. We have Morara being attacked at the venue of the public participation. And when we flip to the other side of the Senate, we have 2 bills that are pending. That we have the limit of the presidency, that is to move from 5-year to 7-year table to be tabled by Senator Cherangai. And also we have the censure of the President William Ruto by Senator Dan. So these are the state of the nation, and we are trying to capture all these at a go. So the next speaker, we are going to have Wycliffe. Then after Wycliffe, we will be having Dr. Maju, then Dr. Milton. Wycliffe, karibu. I think we are losing Wycliffe. Dr. Maju.
Thank you. Is that one Abdi or Pombe?
This is Pombe de Kali. Abdi just got back. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdi. I'm sorry, it's when I've joined and I've seen Larry has sent me an invite to come to the speaker, and I was still listening to the views of the listeners and other speakers. But on just to pick on what your highlights on the matters that we are discussing, the Morara issue, the impeachment of the DP president, I would like to say that I'm very happy with Kenya.